Today, off-camera flash for wedding photographers. I'm following Jason Vinson around and asking him questions about his setup and workflow. If you don't know Jason yet, he has created the work you're seeing on the screen right now. That's enough for me. Let's get to the shoot.
Holy dude. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
So my name is Jason Vinson. We're here at Sony Kando, and we're gonna take a model out, kind of find some cool things to shoot and see what we find. Today I am shooting with the Sony A1. I also have the 14mm f1.8, and then I'll also be shooting on the 24mm f1.4, and then the 135 f1.8. And then I'll be using a little bit of off-camera flash, so I'll be using a combination of the Flashpoint Evolve 200 and then the Explore 1200, and then also the Stellar Reflex S. Okay, so we're gonna go over this way. I have two different ideas we'll work through. Okay, yeah, so I'm setting up a light stand. I like this like square framing element that's over here, but the light's kind of flat and boring. So I'm gonna set up a really powerful light. I'm gonna use the Flashpoint 1200 Pro on the other side of this wall, firing through the leaves to kind of give this like sunset flare look coming through that like framing element. And then I might potentially shoot through that other square for like a double framing thing, but that tree might be in the way. So we'll see if I can get it to line up. I'm actually known a lot for my off-camera flash, but I will go multiple weddings without using any flash. So if the light's good, I'm not opposed to using natural light, but I just like to use it very dramatically. And so in general, off-camera flash is a little easier to use. For a first off-camera flash, something like this, it's the Flashpoint Evolve 200 Pro. It's fairly inexpensive. It's like in the $200 range, but it's 200 watt seconds of power. So it's like more than double the power of a traditional like on-camera hot shoe flash, and it's still like pretty reasonably sized. So this is a pack and head system. So this is literally just like the flash tube, and then all of the components like the battery and all that stuff is housed in this. And so this is actually fairly heavy. So it would be you'd have to have a really heavy duty light stand to have all this weight up here. And so separating it means I can use like this super light carbon fiber stand, because this is actually really light, and then all the weight's down here at the bottom. And then normally I have a way to connect this to the light stand, and it kind of acts as a stabilizer so that the light stand doesn't move. Inside I have some gels, and I'm going to trade this blue one out for a CTO gel. Yeah, so color temperature orange and CTB color temperature blue. And it's basically designed to mimic like really warm light. This one actually is, it's not CT, I call it CTO, but it's actually like a straw filter, which has the same tones, but it has a little bit more yellow. And so I feel like it reproduces sunlight a little bit better than CTO gels. My favorite tip to give when learning off-camera flash is to look for interesting light that's in like your natural surroundings and figure out what's causing that interesting light, and think about how you would recreate that light if it was no longer there. So if like the sun's shining through some leaves, shining dappled light on a wall, when that sun's gone, how would you replace that? You could have like a CTO gel on a flash at kind of like that high angle firing through those leaves. Don't show me tromping on the flowers. I'll try and be delicate. This is kind of just a general starting point, and we might fine tune from there. Preference, I don't want the light to be like pointing through the leaves enough to where it was gonna give me some flare. I just kind of want that color and like the glowing leaves backlight thing. And so when I look through how I'm framing it, if I can see too much of the bulb, then I know it's kind of in a bad location, so I can move it over a little bit. Okay guys, can you come up here? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys right in the middle here, and then you're going to be facing each other, hips touching. There you go. Back, there we go, right there. There we go, perfect. And then, yeah, just kind of look down. So I want you to look down kind of like this. Chin up just a tad though. Just eyes down, there we go. And then you're gonna kind of look down this way. And then maybe like hands on her hip. And then bring that hand like kind of on this elbow. There we go. Just like that. Eyes down a little bit more towards, there we go, yeah. Okay. So here's kind of an example of like with the light and without the light, and I'm underexposed a good amount because I can bring this up. But unfortunately, at 24, I have to get so close that you can't really see the framing, and you actually need to shoot from like back here. So we're going to go with something longer and see if I can get far enough away to kind of get that square. I have the 135, and that might be too long. And so one thing that I'll do, because there's so much dynamic range on these cameras, is I will do a quick fire of my shutter. One, the flash will go off, the other it won't go off. And so I'll have a flash image and a natural light image without having to like take my hot shoe off or turn the flash off or anything like that. I just make sure that I'm within that range where the flash is still recycling. With your eyes, let's kind of look more like kind of down. So yeah, like that. But turn your head a little bit more towards him. There it is. Okay. And maybe look down like towards your hand. There. Yeah, right there. That's it. Better. As a couple, go this way like half an inch. Right there. I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. Little details like that go a long way. You know.
That's nice lighting. I see what you're talking about. That
Yeah, like it just kind of gives like a little bit of like a glow, because like
aura.
because here's without.
Oh no. It's
wow.
A world of difference.
Very interesting. That's cool.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is I kind of want to still use the framing element of it, but I don't want the leaves, so I'm gonna try and actually like stick the flash in between this like foliage and the thing so I can like directly light them but still have like the framing element. So for this pose, it's gonna be very similar.
Okay.
But I want you to be able to see his ear.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna be like slightly this way of her. There we go, just like that. Hips together, back up this way. There we go, a little bit more. There we go. And then you're going to turn your head this way and look down, eyes down. And then you're turn your head a little bit more this way. And if you can lean backwards just a tad, like towards the light. That's it right there. And then turn your head this way a little bit. Sorry, Justin. Yeah. There it is right there. And now this is going to be way overpowered. So let me turn it down to like a quarter and see where we're at. So power-wise, that's good, but I'm seeing the actual light. So I just need to move it over a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be it right there. Eyes down a little bit more. So here's kind of where we're at. What we have is that light is rim lighting him, and then it's bouncing off of his face and then filling in her face. So he gets kind of this like masculine rim light situation, and then she gets kind of this like soft light glow with just a single backlight.
That's amazing.
It's cool to hear all that.
Holy shit, dude. Sorry.
Oh yeah. That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
I'm happy with that. Oh, so this is the Peak Design, I think it's the 6L. So normally, like, I don't own the 135, I don't own the 14. I only shoot with 24, 35, 85. Those are the only 3 lenses I use. I actually used 35, 85 full-time for 7 years. Those are the only 2 lenses I used. And just added the 24 in 2020, just because I feel more creative with less options, if that makes sense. Like, I like thrive off of the limitations of that, yeah. And plus I can see, like, I know what 35, 24, and 85 is.
That's amazing.
Just like naturally looking, whereas if you have too many options, it's like, is it this lens? Is this lens? Where is that?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the perfect bag for me, because since I have 3, normally there's 1 on the camera, so there's an empty slot and then a lens in 2, and so I can take the lens off, put it in the empty slot, put it so I'm not having to like juggle lenses around. I want to use some of this like dappled light with the sun coming through the trees, but I don't know if I want to do the blue or the orange. Let's do this orange over here. I'll probably use, that's a good question. I would use the 35 if I had it, but I actually do that sometimes where I'll like, not on a wedding, and I haven't done it for a while, but where I would like leave a lens that I use a lot at home on purpose, so I have to use something else. Or like if I feel like I'm using off-camera flash too much, I'll do a shoot where I can't use it at all. You can kind of lean against the wall, and you're going to look up like directly at this light. So it's going to be like right in your face, but you can like close your eyes. So it's going to be kind of like, you're just kind of like sunbathing, hanging out. Okay.
Great, yeah.
Chin up just a 10, a little bit more. Take a small step backwards. So what I'm looking for is to have her fully framed in this triangle. And then I'm using these squares as kind of like elements to fill the frame. So it's like very symmetrical, but she's posed like perfectly in this like light of triangle, or triangle of light. It'll be easier if you look through like the viewfinder, but that'll give you an idea.
Oh, sick.
You shall not pass.
Yeah. Justin, can I have just you? You mind coming in here? This would be a perfect situation for the flip out screen, because I like hug the tree. I can't. All right, then just real quick, eyes to camera. Oh, the sun's gone. Wait a second. All right, go ahead and come right to camera.
This is our gardening shop.
Awesome. Thank you. Look through the viewfinder and you'll see it a little better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Cool. Yeah, let's go over here. I got an idea. Give me 1 second. Let me see if this is gonna work. I'm gonna potentially put them in here. There's not a lot of room though. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna recreate like a sunset, essentially. So let's see how this works. If you don't mind, will you get like in there?
Yeah.
So kind of right there. I want you to stand in front of him.
Okay.
But just kind of, yeah, off center like that. Put this arm up over her shoulder, kind of like bear hug. Let it fall down a little bit. And you're gonna loosely hold this hand with your other hand. And then you're going to look this way, but down towards her. And then you're gonna look down your arm. There we go. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so that's natural light.
Yeah.
And then that's sunset.
Oh,
Wow.
you did recreate a
You're
sunset.
crazy.
You can make a sunset.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But the color of the tree back there
It's
too
gorgeous.
is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that we're like just here.
Right? I do always look for like the unconventional locations, because then, especially because there's so many other photographers here, it's like everyone, hopefully no one shot here. I would assume not. Actually, how close? Maybe here. So what I'm seeing is the water reflection, and then this is kind of a framing element if I can shoot them at 135 from like across the pond. Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys pose here, similar to what we did over there where you're facing each other, but you're just slightly in front of her. Let me get the light though, so you can relax.
Okay, yeah, got it.
I'm gonna like rim light them and then potentially have this, like make some of this like foliage around them also glow. And then I'm gonna hopefully shoot to where like the ambient light kind of really goes down. Yeah, so what you'll do is you'll pose hip to hip, or hips to hip, yep, just like that. And that should be about perfect. Okay, look towards each other. Yeah. It works, but there's like some foliage just blocking him, so I need to repose them. Give me a second. Yeah. A little bit more if you can.
Okay.
A little bit more. Right there. Okay. Got it.
Happy?
Yeah. There's not a lot of people that use hard light, I feel like. And even like that's hard light, but the directionality of it, it's not what most people think of when they think hard light, especially in that little like tree cave, because that light's bouncing around all over the place. I'm gonna peek in here just real quick.
That's pretty incredible. Your lighting is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Thank you so
For sure, for
much.
sure.
Oh yeah, it was nice to meet you, Taylor.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Have a safe drive back to Boise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the video. You can find me on Instagram, VincentImages_Jason. And yeah, see you on the next one.